Son of Jacob is part of the interesting things in this conversation because Son of Jacob was distributed through Platoon. The agreement with Platoon was signed in 2020. From that period all the way 2021, 2022, the album was being worked on. In fact, as at 2022, we're still busily clearing from the UK, clearing from Nigeria, clearing copyright and things like that. As at 2022, we were hit with a copyright claim in relation to winning, which we had to renegotiate and deal with all of that on the low before the album was put out. Now, subsequently, after the album was put out, then Kwesi walked away from Ground Up, even though he had one more year. That's 2023.
Okay.
And
So
so
are you
and so
suggesting he left before the expiration of the contract?
definitely, yes.
So he left in which year?
Like 2022, shortly after the release of Son of Jacob.
Okay, so the renewal was it 21?
Exactly, 21.
And then 1 year
The 4 year
into
ended in
the
21.
renewal, he left. Okay, so
Yes.
what did you say to him when he left?
Well, I mean, I didn't have direct conversations with him. Shortly after he
When I
left, he
say
instructed.
you, I mean Ground Up.
Yes, so what I'm saying is that shortly after he left, he instructed U.S. Counsel to write to Ground Up and provide a draft termination agreement for the termination of the deal. And I think the terms of that draft termination were not favorable, so they were reviewed. I think they sort of skewed the rights in favor of Kwesi at a time when a lot of the expenses had not been recouped. So the terms of that termination agreement were reviewed, but nothing came of it after that. And since then, so let me conclude on that by saying that since then, the main issue between Kwesi Arthur and Ground Up have mainly been two before this week. First being Kwesi Arthur asserting ownership rights over Son of Jacob, even though it was released under contract, even though it was released with all the support of Ground Up. If you look at even the DSPs, you see that it's under Ground Up. I've just told you 2022. I was working on clearing for that album, so it came out through the structure. But somehow Kwesi Arthur claims that that album is not Ground Up's, and so Kwesi had been going around to shops, basically defaming Ground Up, claiming rights to that album, and interfering with the exploitation of that album. So that's I would say is the main thing. And then the second thing that has come up this week has to do with his use of footage, images and videos that were recorded during the period when he was under contract. As I've explained, everything that was created during that period is owned by Ground Up.
Good.
And so he
This
used.
part is of great interest. So these images and footage are those that were taken, captured when he was under Ground Up,
Yes,
right?
the footage that he used to promote the current project. Yes, a lot of the footage that he used to promote the
And when
current
you say
project.
when he was under Ground Up, was it after the renewal or the very first
No,
signing?
they even date back to the very beginning. A lot of them also date back to the very beginning. I think especially the video footage, like it dates back to the time when Kwesi was on the come up, and so it has a certain emotive value. It has, it reminds people of how they felt about Kwesi at that time, and it generated a certain buzz. I think everybody saw the buzz online, how people connected to it. It's all part of the sentiments that those images evoked, and these were all images that he was using without authorization. So that is the communication that was sent to him, that he was using the images and monetizing them without authorization. He had also incorporated them in the album art, and he was asked to desist, and he refused. Another email was sent to him, and I mean, we don't want to just be speaking, without substantiation. And that's why I've shared with you the various correspondence that were sent to him on it. You see how decent the language is. You see how measured the language is. You see how commercial the language is. There's no violence. There's no threat. There's nothing as wide as a claim as to own the human being, as wide as to claim, rights over his entire image. There's nothing of the sort there. So it's really odd to see these claims.